Listen to stories and appreciate idioms. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Encountering Chinese, Encountering Idioms. Today, the idiom we are going to encounter is
三令五申
Let's break it down and read it slowly.
三令五申三令五申三令五申三
means 3.
令
means commands.
五
means 5.
申
means explanation.
三令五申
literally means 3 commands, 5 explanations. Now it metaphorically refers to repeatedly commanding or admonishing. The idiom
三令五申
originated from records of the Grand Historian, biographies of Xuanzi and Wuqi, by Sima Qian during the Western Han Dynasty. The original text states,
约束季部，乃设夫乐，即三令五申之。
The meaning of this phrase is that after Sun Wu's deployment was established, he ordered the display of battle axes, repeatedly explained the strict military laws 3 times, and declared them 5 times. The historical anecdote behind this phrase is as follows. Once upon a time during the spring and autumn period, there was a renowned military strategist named Sun Wu. Sun Wu was highly skilled in the art of war and had compiled his experiences of training soldiers into a book known as The Art of War, or Sun Tzu's Art of War. However, Sun Wu's path to success was not smooth sailing. Initially, Sun Wu served in the state of Qi, but the king of Qi did not recognize his talents and only assigned him minor official positions. In such a role, Sun Wu was unable to showcase his military abilities, which greatly frustrated him. Upon hearing that the king of Wu, a vassal state, cherished talents, Sun Wu decided to bring his book and seek employment in Wu, hoping to gain the king's recognition. Through a friend's help, Sun Wu managed to deliver his book to the king of Wu. The king read the book attentively and was delighted by Sun Wu's insights into military strategies. As a result, the king invited Sun Wu to the palace for a meeting. The king of Wu said to Sun Wu, I have read your book and understand that you have unique ideas about leading troops. However, I am unsure if what you have written is truly effective. Here's what I propose. I will gather 180 palace maids, who are ordinary servants without any military training. I want to see if you can train them to become obedient and outstanding soldiers. The king personally gathered the 180 palace maids and handed them over to Sun Wu for training. He even arranged for his 2 most beloved concubines to be among them. These 2 concubines, being favored by the king, paid no attention to Sun Wu, a person without any official position. When Sun Wu saw the palace maids, he divided them into 2 teams and appointed the king's 2 concubines as captains for each team. He instructed them to hold war spears as their banners. Sun Wu shouted loudly, You are now my soldiers and must obey my commands. When I say forward, you look ahead. When I say left, you look to the left. When I say right, you look to the right. If I say back, you turn around. Sun Wu also had an executioner's axe placed in front of the palace maids. After everything was prepared, Sun Wu repeated his instructions and added, "You must follow my commands. If you disobey, I have the authority to sentence you to death." With everything in place, Sun Wu shouted, "Left." However, the palace maids burst into laughter and giggles, completely disregarding his commands. Seeing this, Sun Wu sternly said, "Perhaps I didn't express my instructions clearly. It's my fault. I will take responsibility for this mistake. Let me explain the commands again." Sun Wu then provided detailed explanations of the commands and gave the orders once more. The palace maids laughed even louder upon hearing the commands, especially the two concubines, who disdainfully looked at Sun Wu, thinking, "Sun Wu is just a commoner. I am the king's most beloved concubine. I don't have to listen to him. What can he do to me?" Observing that the palace maids continued to laugh and disregard his commands, Sun Wu solemnly said, "I have issued 3 commands and given 5 explanations. If you still refuse to follow my orders, it will be your own fault. You will bear the consequences of your actions." Afterward, Sun Wu ordered the execution of the 2 concubines who laughed the loudest. When the king of Wu learned about this, he was astonished. He immediately sought out Sun Wu and said, "I understand that you are strict with your soldiers, but the ones you want to kill are my beloved concubines. Regardless, I implore you not to execute my 2 concubines." Sun Wu replied sternly, "Great king, you entrusted these palace maids to me for training, and I am their superior. I have the authority to discipline my subordinates. Just because they are your concubines does not exempt them from punishment. If I let them go today, others will continue to disobey my commands." In the end, Sun Wu gave the order, and the 2 concubines were executed with an axe. Witnessing this, everyone was terrified. They realized that Sun Wu truly punished those who did not obey his commands, regardless of their status. Consequently, the palace maids became serious and did not utter a word. Sun Wu selected new palace maids as captains and issued the commands once again. This time, the palace maids followed the instructions diligently and trained earnestly. After a while, the king of Wu witnessed that the palace maids had indeed transformed into qualified soldiers. He recognized Sun Wu's exceptional military talents and bestowed him with a high-ranking position to assist in training the army. From that time onward, the military strength of the state of Wu gradually grew, eventually becoming one of the most powerful among the vassal states. In this story, Sun Wu repeatedly emphasized the importance of following commands and issued multiple orders, giving rise to the idiom,
三令五申.
There is another story as follows. Once upon a time, during the Warring States period in ancient China, there was a remarkable king named King Xian of Qi in the state of Qi. After ascending to the throne, he noticed that the kingdom was in a state of chaos due to incomplete laws and social disorder. Concerned about the welfare of his people, he decided to establish a series of new laws and regulations to strengthen the state of Qi. For instance, the first law stated that no matter whether someone was rich or poor, they were prohibited from seizing others' property or causing harm to their lives. Severe punishment awaited those who disobeyed this command. The second law required officials in the court to be incorruptible. They were not allowed to accept bribes from others. Any violation of this law would result in the dismissal of the official. The third law decreed that soldiers must be brave, obedient to commands, and follow the requirements of the military. Any deviation from the rules would be met with the harshest punishment. After issuing these 3 laws, King Xian worried that people might not fully understand the reasons behind them. To address this, he took the time to explain each law to the people. King Xian said, "First and foremost, the safety of the people's property and lives is of utmost importance. No one has the right to seize or harm others at will. Such acts would destabilize the social order and must be punished. Secondly, officials should serve as role models for the people. Accepting bribes would lead to unfairness and injustice in their actions. If all officials in the court accept bribes, the country will be unable to govern effectively. Lastly, in the case of the military, if soldiers fail to obey their superiors' commands, they will be unable to fight effectively and protect the safety of Qi. As a result, the country will be defenseless against attacks, and the people of Qi will not be able to live in peace." King Xian provided detailed explanations for the 3 laws, but even so, the people still struggled to fully comprehend them. Therefore, King Xian reiterated his explanations once again. He emphasized that everyone, regardless of wealth or poverty, must adhere to these laws. Violations would result in punishment. Only by strictly following the laws could the people live in peace and the country become stronger. To ensure that everyone understood and complied with the laws, King Xian repeatedly issued proclamations. He wanted to ensure that all the people, officials, and soldiers knew and understood the content of the 3 laws and executed them effectively. Indeed, the 3 laws led to the strengthening of the state of Qi, and they continued to be improved and adopted in many subsequent dynasties. In this story, King Xian issued commands and provided repeated explanations. This gave rise to the idiom,
三令五申.
2 stories have been told. Next, let's review the idiom we encountered today.
三令五申. 三令五申.
Finally, let's use
三令五申
to make a sentence.
老师三令五申，不准往学校带零食。老师三令五申，不准往学校带零食。
That's all for today's Encountering Idioms. If you enjoy it, please like and subscribe. See you next time.